Okay, let's talk about the most important rules of hard surface modeling. Now, I swear some of these rules I'm about to show you can't even find information for online. And believe it or not, this info is quite limited. Some of it you can find and some of it you can't. But this is what is going to make or break your 3D work. So in today's video, I'm going to give you the inside scoop into what you need to focus on in 2023 to take your work to the next level. Let's go. Alright, the first one I want to start with is one of my favorites, and it's called the rule of 70-30, or just the 70-30 rule. And it's the one that's going to have the most profound effect on your designs. Simply put, the 70-30 rule is when you want to concentrate details in this way. 30% of your mesh should be clusters of detail, while 70% should be empty space. Now, you don't have to follow this rule to a T. Generally, you'll just be eyeballing the percentages, but more or less, this is how your design should be. 30% clusters of detail, 70% empty space. As you can see, some of the most talented hard surface artists are using this exact principle to create amazing designs. So that is the first rule I want you to begin focusing on in 2023 and obviously forever. And as you begin to use it more, the more intuitive your detail placement will become. Now, the next rule we have is called echoing, and echoing is exactly what it sounds like. Repeat angles and shapes that already exist on your mesh. Here's a simple structure that I designed. As you can see, I have a repeated use of these 45-degree chamfers on the mesh, all at varying lengths. One of the most effective ways to utilize echoing is to find a shape or an angle in your model and repeat it at a different length. I personally use this rule all the time in my designs, especially if I get stuck and can't think of anything else to add. This rule basically gives you the answer to what you're looking for when you get stuck. Now, next on the list, we have detail concentration, and this rule kind of goes hand in hand with the 70-30 rule. Basically, when you follow the 70-30 rule, you're going to end up with areas of these concentrated details, and this is exactly what you want. The clusters of detail are going to bring emphasis to your design and give the viewer an immediate location to look at, while the empty space is going to allow the viewer to rest on the design while continuing to travel around and observe the rest of it. Now, on a subconscious level, this all happens within milliseconds, but it is incredibly powerful in order to communicate form, power, and function to your model. And next up on the list, we have proportion and scale. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't use, but it is an easy way to communicate more about your model. Take this render that I made a few months ago. Now, take away the human from it. When we do this, it's hard to tell exactly how large this model is. Maybe it's massive, or maybe it's a toy. Adding a human element and adjusting the size immediately tells the viewer how large the ship actually is. And this is a powerful and subconscious method of communication that you can basically tell your viewer, how big your design is. Now, keep in mind, you don't always have to do this. For example, a model of a watch would be pretty contextual, as would a model of a shoe. We pretty much already have an idea of how large these objects would be in these cases. Isn't always necessary to follow this rule. But when you do need it, using proportion and scale is an incredibly powerful technique to demonstrate size, shape, form, and of course, many other things. But when you need it, using proportion and scale is an incredibly powerful technique. Next on the list, we have blockouts. Now, blockouts really make it easy to ensure correct proportions and to define the body language of your model. Here's a progressive blockout of a mech design. By starting with simple, primitive shapes, we're able to define the overall proportions and form before we start adding additional detail. This is why blockouts are so powerful, because they give you a base to start from. Now, for the second to last topic, we have colors. Colors are a fantastic way to emphasize the smaller, more minute details on your model. Personally, what I like to do is use color to bring contrast to different elements of my designs. You're probably familiar with primary, secondary, and tertiary shapes, and what you can actually do is make these different elements different colors. It'll look a lot less bland compared to if the entire mesh was just one solid color. So use colors to emphasize the smaller details while having a primary color for the main base of the shape. And finally, the most important one by far is lighting and composition. Now, I put these two together because they go hand in hand. If your lighting sucks, expect to get little to no results on your work, period. Lighting is crucial. Why do you think these big Instagram influencers have amazing photos and follower counts? It is because they use lighting to make their lives and features more enhanced and exciting than they really are. Say what you want about it, that's just the way it is. And if you refuse to use lighting to properly empower your designs, you're doing it wrong. So spend some time learning lighting, how it works, and how to use it to your advantage. If you want some good videos on lighting, here are 3 good ones which I'll link in the description. You can also pick up our Rendering University course if you want something a bit more step-by-step that will save you the time researching and learning. I'll link that in the description as well, and I'll even throw in a 25% off discount to get the year started on the right path. And to wrap it up with the composition portion, you need to understand how to frame your images, render them, and demonstrate that power and awe. And you can do this simply by adjusting your camera focal length, framing, and the overall positioning of your model. If you're familiar with photography, the rule of thirds is a great way to position your models. Also, give your models a bit of breathing space. Don't cramp it up against the frame. I see this problem a lot. And please do not put your models in the center of every single render. There are situations where centering your objects is ideal, but most people, including myself when I got started, think centering their models in the middle of the frame is a good thing. It's really not. Sometimes it can be, but oftentimes it hurts your overall composition. And that is it, my friends. We've covered all the main topics of visual design in 3D and the rules of proper hard surface design. So if you can work on improving these every single day, you will begin to see a difference in your work, and that I promise. I'll even throw in some of my old renders on the screen now. As you can see, they're pretty awful, but after just a few months and a few years of learning, you'll be able to start developing much better portfolios and projects just following the rules in this video. And finally, to end this off, what I want you to do now is grab our free hard surface jumpstart course over on our website. It covers all the essentials from modeling and design to rendering and composition and much more. And like I said, it's totally free, and I'll link that in the description as well. So that's all for now. Really hope this video helped you out, and I'll see you in the next one.